Welcome back to the channel. What if the next coin you spend could actually be worth a fortune? From a mysterious Washington quarter to a rare Susan B. Anthony dollar, a Kennedy half dollar, and an Eisenhower dollar, these coins may look completely ordinary, but one hidden mint error could change everything. Stay with us, because you might be accidentally losing a treasure worth big money. First up, the 1983 with P Washington quarter is one of those coins that can easily be overlooked in everyday pocket change, yet certain examples can attract serious attention from collectors. At first glance, it may appear to be nothing more than a common quarter with some scratches, circulation wear, and signs of age. But in the world of coin collecting, the true story of a coin is often hidden in the small details. Its date, mint mark, condition, surface characteristics, and especially whether it contains a genuine minting error or an unusual variety. The Washington Quarter series began in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The coin was designed by sculptor John Flanagan, whose portrait of Washington appeared on the obverse. The reverse originally featured an eagle, but the design was changed in 2022. The 1983 issue belongs to the classic Washington Quarter era, when the United States Mint was producing quarters made from a copper-nickel outer layer bonded to a pure copper core. The 1983 with P Washington quarter was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, identified by the P mint mark located on the obverse side of the coin. This is important because the Philadelphia Mint did not always use a mint mark on United States coins in earlier periods, but the P mark became a major identifying feature on many coins beginning in the late 20th century. For collectors, the mint mark can immediately help determine where a coin was produced and can make one example more interesting than another. The standard composition of a 1983 Washington quarter is copper-nickel clad. The outer layers are composed of a copper-nickel alloy, while the inner core is primarily copper. The coin has a standard weight of approximately 5.67 grams. Its diameter is about 24.3 millimeters, and its thickness is approximately 1.75 millimeters. The edge is reeded, containing many small grooves around the circumference. These specifications are important because collectors and specialists can use them to identify unusual coins. If a suspected error coin has an unusual weight, diameter, thickness, or metal composition, professional testing may reveal something extremely important. The obverse displays the famous portrait of George Washington facing left. The inscriptions include Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date 1983. The P mint mark appears near the date area. On the reverse, the traditional eagle design is surrounded by the inscriptions United States of America, E pluribus unum, quarter dollar and quarter dollar, as part of the classic design format. What makes this particular coin especially interesting is the possibility of a genuine error or unusual mint variety. The phrase error mint mark is often used by collectors to describe a coin with an abnormal mint mark appearance, unusual placement, doubling, distortion, or another feature connected with the minting process. However, not every strange-looking mint mark is automatically a valuable error. Some unusual appearances can result from circulation damage, scratches, deterioration, machine damage, or attempts to alter the coin after it left the mint. That is why careful examination is extremely important. A 1983 with P Washington quarter with scratches and circulation wear may look ordinary, but if the unusual feature is a genuine mint-made error, the coin could become much more desirable. Collectors examine the mint mark under magnification, compare it with normal examples, and inspect the surrounding metal for evidence of die doubling, repunching, abnormal shape, or other characteristics that could confirm a legitimate variety. The condition described as almost circulated or very fine also plays a major role. A coin that has been used in commerce may show scratches, contact marks, light wear, and surface damage. These imperfections normally reduce value compared with a pristine, uncirculated coin. However, rarity can sometimes be more important than condition. A genuinely rare error can still attract strong collector interest even when the coin is not perfect. This is where the idea of a hidden treasure becomes so exciting. Millions of people have handled coins without ever examining them carefully. A quarter can pass from one person to another, sit inside a jar, remain forgotten in an old drawer, or be accidentally spent at a store. Most 1,983 with P quarters are not rare treasures, but a coin with a truly authenticated and highly unusual mint error could be far more interesting than its face value. The claimed market value of approximately $389,000 should be treated as a reported or claimed figure rather than a guaranteed price for every 1,983 with P Washington quarter. A coin would need strong evidence, professional authentication, and a documented market history to justify an extraordinary valuation of that level. Auction prices can vary dramatically depending on the exact error, rarity, grade, authentication, provenance, and collector demand. A normal circulated 1,983 P quarter should not automatically be valued at hundreds of thousands of dollars simply because it has scratches or an unusual-looking mint mark. Nevertheless, collector demand can become very strong when a coin has a rare, confirmed, and well-documented minting error. Serious collectors often search for coins that are difficult to find, especially examples with dramatic and verifiable abnormalities. Professional grading services can examine the coin, authenticate it, assign a condition grade, and sometimes identify a recognized error or variety. This documentation can make a major difference when the coin is offered to collectors or sold through a reputable auction. For collectors who discover a 1,983 with P Washington quarter that appears unusual, the first rule is simple: do not clean it. Cleaning, polishing, rubbing, or using chemicals can permanently damage the original surface and may significantly reduce collector appeal. Instead, handle the coin by its edges and place it in a protective holder. Take clear photographs of both sides and the edge. Record its weight with a precise digital scale and compare the design with known examples. The next step is professional evaluation. A local coin dealer with experience in error coins may provide an initial opinion, but an exceptionally valuable claim should be supported by independent authentication. Collectors should also be cautious of exaggerated online valuations. A dramatic asking price is not the same as a confirmed selling price. Real market value is best established through verified auction results, professional grading, and genuine collector demand. The 1,983 with P Washington quarter remains a fascinating example of how ordinary-looking American coinage can inspire extraordinary interest. Its history connects it to the long-running Washington Quarter series. Its copper-nickel composition reflects the modern U.S. coinage system, and its date and Philadelphia mint mark make it an identifiable piece of American numismatic history. Ultimately, the greatest lesson is that small details matter. A tiny feature near the mint mark, an unusual die characteristic, or a confirmed minting error can completely change the story of a coin. While not every 1,983 with P quarter is a hidden fortune, the possibility of discovering something unusual is exactly what makes coin collecting so exciting. For collectors, the best approach is patience, careful observation, accurate research, and professional authentication. Never assume that every unusual mark means a fortune, but never ignore a coin that genuinely appears different from normal examples. Somewhere among old jars, drawers, collections, and everyday change, people may still be accidentally losing coins that deserve a much closer look. And that is what makes a seemingly ordinary 1983 with P. Washington quarter feel like a hidden piece of treasure waiting to be discovered. Next up, the 1979 with P. Susan B. Anthony dollar is one of the most recognizable small-sized dollar coins in United States history. To many people, it may look like an ordinary old dollar with scratches, circulation wear, and signs of age. But for collectors, the 1979 issue is especially interesting because it represents the beginning of a completely new era in American coinage. The coin was introduced as the first United States circulating dollar to feature a woman on its obverse, honoring Susan B. Anthony, a major figure in the American women's suffrage movement. The Susan B. Anthony dollar was authorized during a period when the United States Mint was searching for a smaller and more convenient dollar coin. Large silver dollars had become inconvenient for everyday use, and the government wanted a compact dollar that could be produced more efficiently. The result was a small, lightweight coin that quickly became one of the most discussed modern U.S. dollar coins. The obverse design features a portrait of Susan B. Anthony facing right. The design was created by chief engraver Frank Gasparo. Around the portrait are the inscriptions "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," with the date appearing below. On a 1979p example, the P mint mark identifies the Philadelphia Mint as the production facility. The reverse displays an eagle landing on the moon, surrounded by the inscription United States of America, with $1 appearing below. The design was inspired by the Apollo 11 mission emblem and gives the coin a strong connection to the history of the United States space program. The 1979 with P. Susan B. Anthony dollar was produced from a copper-nickel-clad composition. The outer layers consist of a copper-nickel alloy, bonded to a copper core. The coin weighs approximately 8.1 grams. It has a diameter of approximately 26.5 millimeters and a thickness of about 2 millimeters. The edge is reeded, with grooves around the circumference. These specifications are extremely useful when examining a suspected error coin, because a genuine minting mistake can sometimes affect weight, shape, thickness, or the appearance of the edge. One of the most important details associated with the 1979 with P. Susan B. Anthony dollar is the variety known as the wide rim or near-date variety. On certain 1979 with P coins, the date appears noticeably closer to the rim than on the more common narrow rim variety. This difference is connected to changes in the hub and die production process. For collectors, this means that two coins with the exact same date and mint mark can have very different levels of desirability depending on the variety. The 1979p issue is also known for other interesting characteristics, including the famous Type 2 proof variety, although that variety is associated primarily with proof coins rather than ordinary circulation strikes. This demonstrates why collectors must carefully identify the exact type of coin they have before making any claims about rarity or value. When a 1979 with P. Susan B. Anthony dollar is described as having an error mint mark, collectors must examine the coin carefully. A genuine mint error may involve an unusual mint mark appearance, doubling, distortion, or another feature created during the manufacturing process. However, damage caused after the coin left the mint can create similar-looking marks. Scratches, dents, impact marks, and surface damage can sometimes make a normal mint mark appear unusual. This is especially important for a circulated coin with scratches and wear. A very fine or almost circulated example may show contact marks and surface imperfections, but condition alone does not automatically make the coin rare. The real value comes from a combination of factors: a confirmed mint error, a recognized variety, scarcity, condition, authentication, and collector demand. The claimed market value of approximately $300,000 is an extraordinary figure and should not be assumed to apply to every 1,979 with P. Susan B. Anthony dollar. A normal circulated example is generally not worth anything close to that amount. For a coin to approach an exceptional valuation, it would need to possess a highly unusual, genuine, and professionally authenticated error or variety with strong evidence of rarity and substantial collector demand. This is where the idea of a hidden treasure becomes fascinating. The Susan B. Anthony dollar was heavily distributed into circulation, and many examples were handled by the public. Some were saved in drawers, placed in jars, forgotten in collections, or accidentally spent. People may have looked at these coins without realizing that small differences in the date, rim, mint mark, planchet, or striking process could make one example more desirable than another. The collector demand for unusual Susan B. Anthony dollars remains strong because the series has several features that attract numismatists. It is historically important, it contains different varieties, and it includes examples with recognized errors and unusual striking characteristics. Collectors often search for coins with broad strikes, off-center strikes, missing design details, doubled features, wrong planchets, and other legitimate minting abnormalities. The 1979 date is particularly important because it was the first year of production for the series. First-year coins often receive special attention from collectors, especially when they display a recognized variety. A 1979 with P-wide rim coin, for example, can be more desirable than a common 1979P narrow rim example, depending on condition and market demand. For anyone who discovers a potentially rare 1979 with P. Susan B. Anthony dollar, the first rule is to avoid cleaning the coin. Never polish it, rub it with chemicals, or attempt to improve its appearance. Original surfaces are important to collectors, and cleaning can permanently damage the coin. Handle it by the edges and place it in a protective holder. The next step is careful examination. Use good lighting and magnification to inspect the date, the distance between the date and the rim, the mint mark, the lettering, the edge, and the overall strike. A precise digital scale can also be helpful. Compare the coin with authenticated examples of known varieties, but remember that internet photographs alone cannot replace professional authentication. If the coin appears genuinely unusual, professional evaluation is strongly recommended. A knowledgeable coin dealer can provide an initial opinion, while a professional grading and authentication service can offer more authoritative documentation. This is especially important when a coin is being claimed to have a value in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. Collectors should also remember that advertised prices and actual selling prices are not always the same. An online listing may show a huge asking price, but that does not prove the coin has sold for that amount. The real market value of a rare coin is determined by verified sales, authentication, condition, rarity, and the willingness of serious collectors to compete for it. The 1979 with P. Susan B. Anthony dollar remains an important piece of American numismatic history. It introduced a new small-sized dollar design, honored a major American historical figure, and became connected to the country's space program through its reverse design. Its first-year status and multiple varieties make it especially interesting to collectors. Ultimately, the excitement surrounding this coin comes from the possibility that an ordinary-looking dollar may contain a detail that most people never notice. A small difference near the date, an unusual minting characteristic, or a confirmed error can transform a common-looking coin into a much more important collectible. That is why collectors continue searching through old coin jars, family collections, bankrolls, drawers, and forgotten change. People can accidentally spend, overlook, or lose coins without ever knowing what they might have been holding. The 1979 with P. Susan B. Anthony dollar may look like a simple dollar coin, but under the right circumstances, the smallest details can tell a completely different story. Next up, the 2023 with P. Kennedy half dollar is a modern United States coin that may appear ordinary at first glance, especially when found with circulation scratches, contact marks, and signs of everyday handling. However, modern coins can sometimes contain unusual minting characteristics, varieties, or genuine errors that make them far more interesting to collectors. A coin that looks like a simple 50-cent piece may have a story hidden in its smallest details, and that is exactly what makes the 2023 with P. Kennedy half dollar an intriguing coin to examine. The Kennedy half dollar series began in 1964, shortly after the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. In November 1963, the United States Mint moved quickly to create a circulating coin honoring the popular president. The obverse portrait was designed by Gilroy Roberts, while the reverse was created by Frank Gasparro. The coin became one of the most recognizable modern American coins and continues to be produced today. The 2023 with P. Kennedy half dollar carries the portrait of President John F. Kennedy on the obverse. Around the portrait are the inscriptions "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," while the date 2023 appears below. The P Mint mark identifies the Philadelphia Mint. The reverse features the presidential seal, including the eagle, shield, stars, arrows, and olive branch. The inscriptions include United States of America, E Pluribus Unum, and half dollar. The standard composition of a modern Kennedy half dollar is copper-nickel clad. The outer layers contain a copper-nickel alloy, while the interior is primarily copper. The coin has a standard weight of approximately 11.34 grams. Its diameter is approximately 30.6 millimeters, and its thickness is about 2.15 millimeters. The edge is reeded, with grooves running around the entire circumference. These measurements are important for collectors because genuine mint errors can sometimes create unusual changes in a coin's weight, shape, thickness, or edge. If a 2023 with P. Kennedy half dollar appears different from a normal example, precise measurements may provide valuable clues. A coin that is significantly overweight or underweight, has an unusual edge, or displays an abnormal planche may deserve further examination. The phrase "error mint mark" connected with a 2023 P. Kennedy half dollar should always be investigated carefully. A genuine mint error can involve unusual doubling, a distorted feature, an abnormal strike, a planche problem, or another mistake that occurred during the production process. However, many marks that appear unusual are actually caused by damage after the coin left the mint. Scratches, dents, machine damage, and contact marks can sometimes make a normal mint mark look strange. This distinction is extremely important because a circulated coin with scratches is not automatically rare. A very fine or almost circulated coin may have visible wear and surface marks, but condition is only one part of the value equation. For a modern coin to become exceptionally valuable, collectors generally want evidence of something genuinely unusual, rare, and verifiable. The 2023 with P date is also interesting because it belongs to the modern era of Kennedy half-dollar production. Unlike some older coins that have decades of history behind them, a 2023 coin is relatively new. That means the discovery of a truly dramatic and confirmed mint era could attract significant attention because modern eras are actively studied and collected. The claimed market value of approximately $490,000 is an extraordinary figure and should be considered a claimed or potential valuation rather than a guaranteed price for every 2023 with P Kennedy half-dollar. A normal circulated 2023 with P half-dollar is not automatically worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. To justify an extraordinary value of this level, the coin would require exceptional evidence, such as a major and authenticated mint era, extreme rarity, strong provenance, and serious collector demand. Nevertheless, the possibility of finding a valuable modern era is one of the reasons people continue searching through coins. A Kennedy half-dollar may be placed in a cash register, carried in a wallet, stored in a collection, or accidentally spent without anyone paying attention to its details. People often focus on old coins and forget that newer coins can also contain unusual minting mistakes. Collector demand for Kennedy half-dollars remains strong because the series has historical importance and a large community of collectors. Some collectors focus on complete date and mint mark sets, while others search specifically for proof coins, silver issues, varieties, double dies, striking errors, and unusual planchet errors. A rare and professionally authenticated 2023 P era could attract attention from collectors who specialize in modern United States coinage. One of the most important things to examine is the mint mark and the surrounding area. Collectors should look for features that appear to be part of the original striking process rather than damage that occurred later. Magnification can help reveal unusual doubling, metal flow, or other characteristics. The date, lettering, stars, edge, and overall strike should also be compared with normal examples. The coin's condition must also be recorded accurately. A coin described as almost circulated or very fine may have scratches, contact marks, and light wear. These imperfections can reduce the value of an ordinary coin, but a major confirmed error may still be valuable despite circulation. In some cases, rarity and the nature of the error can matter more than perfect appearance. If someone believes they have discovered an unusual 2023 with P Kennedy half-dollar, the best advice is not to clean it. Cleaning, polishing, rubbing, or applying chemicals can permanently damage the original surface. The coin should be handled carefully by its edges and stored in a protective holder. Clear photographs of the obverse, reverse, edge, mint mark, and any unusual feature can help with initial research. A precise digital scale can also be useful. The standard weight is approximately 11.34 grams, but small differences can occur because of normal manufacturing tolerances and wear. A major difference may justify further investigation, but weight alone does not prove that a coin is rare. Professional examination is still necessary. Collectors should also be cautious when seeing dramatic online claims. A coin listed for $490,000 does not necessarily mean it has sold for $490. Asking prices can be extremely different from actual market prices. The strongest evidence comes from authenticated coins, professional grading, verified auction records, and documented sales. The 2023 with P. Kennedy half dollar is a fascinating example of how even modern coinage can contain hidden possibilities. Its design honors President John F. Kennedy. Its reverse reflects the symbolism of the presidential seal, and its modern production history connects it to the continuing story of United States coin manufacturing. The most exciting part of coin collecting is that valuable discoveries do not always look spectacular. A coin may have scratches, circulation wear, and an ordinary appearance. Yet a small minting error or unusual variety can completely change its importance. That is why people continue searching through old collections, coin jars, bankrolls, wallets, and forgotten drawers. Someone could accidentally spend a coin without ever realizing that it deserved closer examination. Another person might place it in a box and forget about it for years. A third person might notice one unusual detail and discover that the coin has a story far more interesting than its face value. Ultimately, the 2023 with P. Kennedy half dollar should be examined with curiosity, but also with realism. Not every unusual mark is a mint error, and not every high valuation represents a confirmed sale. However, a genuinely rare and professionally authenticated example could attract serious collector interest. Next up, the 1978 with D. Eisenhower dollar is one of the most. Next up, the 1978 with D. Eisenhower dollar is one of the most recognizable large-size dollar coins ever produced by the United States Mint. At first glance, a circulated example with scratches, contact marks, and signs of age may appear to be nothing more than an old dollar from the late 1970s. But in the world of coin collecting, the smallest details can sometimes transform an ordinary-looking coin into something far more interesting. The 1978 D. Eisenhower dollar belongs to a historically important series, and examples with genuine mint errors or unusual characteristics can attract serious attention from collectors. The Eisenhower dollar was introduced in 1971 as a tribute to President Dwight D. Eisenhower, the 34th President of the United States and a major military leader during World War II. The coin also commemorated the achievements of the United States space program. Its reverse design features an eagle landing on the moon, inspired by the Apollo 11 mission insignia. This connection to both American presidential history and the space race gives the Eisenhower dollar a unique place in American numismatics. The obverse of the 1978 with D. Eisenhower dollar features a portrait of Dwight D. Eisenhower facing left. The design was created by chief engraver Frank Gasparo. The inscriptions include Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date 1978. The D mint mark identifies the Denver Mint, where the coin was produced. On the reverse, an eagle approaches the moon, with the Earth visible above it. The inscriptions include United States of America, A Pluribus Unum, and $1. The standard 1978 D. Eisenhower dollar is a large coin. Its diameter is approximately 38.5 millimeters, while its thickness is about 2.58 millimeters. The standard weight is approximately 22.68 grams. Unlike the earlier silver-clad Eisenhower dollars produced for collectors, regular 1978 D circulation strikes were made from a copper-nickel-clad composition. The outer layers contain copper and nickel bonded to a copper core. The edge is reeded with grooves extending around the circumference. These specifications are important when investigating a potentially unusual coin. A suspected mint error can sometimes display an abnormal weight, unusual thickness, a malformed edge, an incorrect planchet, or another physical characteristic that differs from a normal example. For that reason, collectors often use accurate scales, calipers, magnification, and comparison with authenticated examples. The reference to an error mint mark on a 1978 with D. Eisenhower dollar makes careful examination especially important. A genuine mint-made error could involve unusual doubling, a distorted feature, an abnormal strike, or another characteristic created during the production process. However, a scratch or contact mark near the D mint mark does not automatically mean the coin contains an error. Damage that occurs after a coin leaves the mint can sometimes create an appearance that looks unusual. This distinction is critical. A circulated coin with scratches and wear may be interesting, but condition alone does not make it extremely rare. The real importance of a coin depends on the exact feature, whether that feature is genuine, how rare it is, and whether collectors are willing to pay a premium for it. The claimed market value of approximately $690,000 is an extraordinary figure and should be treated as a claimed or potential valuation rather than a guaranteed price for every 1978 with D. Eisenhower dollar. A normal circulated example is not automatically worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. For a coin to approach a valuation of this magnitude, it would need extraordinary evidence, such as a major, authenticated mint error, exceptional rarity, strong documentation, and significant collector demand. Nevertheless, the possibility of discovering a valuable Eisenhower dollar is what makes searching through old collections so exciting. These large dollar coins were used, saved, exchanged, and stored by millions of people. Some were placed in coin jars, forgotten in drawers, inherited through families, or accidentally spent in everyday transactions. A person could easily handle one without realizing that a rare minting characteristic might be hidden in the design. The Eisenhower dollar series has strong collector demand because of its historical significance and its many varieties and errors. Collectors search for different dates, mint marks, proof issues, silver-clad examples, varieties, doubled dies, off-center strikes, broad strikes, clipped planches, and other unusual minting characteristics. A dramatic and professionally authenticated 1978D error could attract attention from specialists in modern United States coinage. The 1978 date is also significant because it was near the end of the original Eisenhower dollar series. The final regular issue Eisenhower dollars were produced in 1978 before the introduction of the smaller Susan B. Anthony dollar in 1979. This makes the 1978D issue part of the closing chapter of an important large dollar era. Collectors examining a 1978 with D. Eisenhower dollar should pay close attention to the date, mint mark, lettering, stars, eagle, moon, rim, and edge. Magnification can help reveal unusual doubling or metal movement. The coin should also be compared with normal examples of the same date and mint mark. A feature that appears unusual in isolation may actually be normal for the series, while a subtle difference may deserve professional investigation. The condition described as almost circulated or very fine means that the coin may show scratches, contact marks, and signs of use. These marks can reduce the value of a normal coin, but a significant and genuine mint error can still be desirable even when the coin has circulated. In many cases, the rarity and nature of the error are more important than having a perfectly preserved surface. One of the most important rules for collectors is never to clean the coin. Polishing, rubbing, chemicals, or abrasive materials can permanently damage the original surface. A potentially valuable coin should be handled by the edges and placed in a protective holder. Clear photographs of both sides, the edge and the unusual feature can be useful for research and expert evaluation. A precise digital scale is also valuable. A normal Eisenhower dollar should weigh approximately 22.68 grams, although small variations may occur. A significant difference could suggest a plancher issue or another unusual characteristic, but weight alone cannot prove rarity. Professional authentication is still necessary. Collectors should also be cautious about extraordinary online price claims. An advertised price of $690,000 is not proof that a coin has actually sold for that amount. Asking prices and confirmed auction results can be dramatically different. The strongest evidence comes from professional authentication, recognized varieties, documented rarity, and verified sales involving comparable coins. The 1978 with D Eisenhower dollar remains an important piece of American history. It honors a president, celebrates the achievements of the Apollo era, and represents the final years of the large-size dollar coin that followed the end of the silver dollar era. Its impressive size and distinctive design make it easy to recognize, but its potential varieties and errors make it even more fascinating to collectors. The idea that someone could accidentally lose or spend a valuable Eisenhower dollar is what makes the search feel like a hidden treasure hunt. A coin may sit unnoticed in an old box for decades. It may be mixed with ordinary change. It may be passed from one person to another without anyone checking the date, mint mark, edge, or unusual details. That is why collectors continue examining old coins carefully. Not every scratch is an error, and not every unusual mark represents a fortune. But a genuine, rare, and professionally authenticated mint error can completely change the story of an otherwise ordinary-looking coin.